So collaboration means a lot because Isa magazine wouldn't be what it is today without the collaboration of, in the beginning of Sam doing the branding kit, of Mariah and Jamie and Claire for, doing the photos, for proofreading my content and like giving me suggestions of how it can be better. So, and obviously the contributions from the Isa community, the writers, the photographers, the graphic designers, it's basically everyone. And I hope that like in the future it's gonna keep going. The momentum is there. It's always gonna be collaboration and acceptance and just all about work and like creative work, because I find so much healing when I'm writing, when I'm sharing art, just because it just feels so good to see everyone's creative work up in one place. And I don't know how to explain it. It just makes me so happy. And collaboration is so important. I feel like Isa wouldn't be what it is without the help and support of all these creative folks.
I love,
like, anyone that I meet makes an impact on me, and I basically take the lessons that I get from meeting this person and like fulfilling it into like how I live my life. So I mean, I can say that like with the books that I read, it makes an impact on me, and I can say Toni Morrison, who's my favorite author, has made a big impact just because of her words and of what she stood for, and hearing Black stories is just incredible. So I guess I can say, like Toni Morrison would be one, but also with the people around me too. Like the professors that taught me in university, like they just ingrained so much in me. But I guess recently I could say the people that I'm with, like my partner, who's definitely been a pivotal person in my growth and in my development, just because we've been together for 6 years, and he showed me what it means to have a healthy family, what it means to be in a healthy relationship. And yeah, I just can't thank him enough. He's also the investor of Isa magazine, so I can't really be doing the magazine without his help. So Ian, if you're listening, shout out to you. And also my friends, obviously my masthead, they're also my best of friends. Like, they're definitely my sisters, and I don't think I am here today without them. I've dealt with, because I've been working since I was 17. I work customer service, just because, financial reasons. Living in a Filipino household, everyone's like, you're independent, so you must do what you can and work. So I was, that also leads to that question later, like our upbringing. So I'll tell more, but basically I'd have to say a lot to say. Basically I know what microaggressions are. I've felt it, I've lived it, and I can't even, there, like, during those experiences, like, I obviously didn't want to validate myself, just because I was like, oh, it's nothing, you just brush it off. But no, it was definitely something. Now that I reflect, now when I'm free from that environment, just because when you're in that toxic, I guess racist environment, you just feel so little, and your mind is so little, and you can't really do much. So I totally feel for anyone who feels this way, because it's so degrading. There's really not much to explain. It's degrading. It attacks my confidence. I feel so insecure about my writing, and like, writing is obviously what I love to do that, but I never really fully consider myself as a writer, just because I'm like, I'm an immigrant. I can't write. All the authors and all the books I read, they're not colored, and that's obviously like just wrong. It's not true. Just because, like, yes, it's true, like there's a lot of them out there, but I just wasn't looking hard enough, and there's like so much like radical spaces I just needed to look. But basically I just have so much to say about this. But yeah, it's painful. That's why, like, I should have added that in my core values. Basically, I would love to see more colored folks up in the higher ends of running a company. My upbringing definitely has shaped me as a person, the good and the bad. So like, I would like to start with the positive, and then I'll go with the negative. So basically, I'm grateful that like I was raised the way that I am. So basically, my upbringing was that when I came to Canada, it was with my dad, my 4 siblings, and my dad as a single dad. So a lot of tough times. He was, working class, and yeah, just seeing him juggle 2 jobs at a time, not getting any sleep, and like barely surviving. Having food on the table. I'm so young. Like I was so young for me to even comprehend that, but like I just knew, like working hard and like it's just gonna bring you success, or like it keeps like surviving, like working to survive was one that I learned growing up, and like being hardworking and really focusing on my education and like just really focusing on school. So I'm thankful that happened because it just drives me. Like I think being a hard worker it's like was ingrained in me because of my dad and seeing him, right? So he is empowering, and he inspired me, but also there's also a bad to that because as I said, being a nurse, like that's just not realistic, just because I'm not the science type. I like consider myself as a creative person, and I knew myself in high school. I was like, I'm not a fan of chemistry, I'm just not a fan of science. I just couldn't do it. Like, I obviously I passed and did it, but personally, I don't think it was just me. So having to juggle his ideas and his expectations, I guess, was tough because, we're in this Western society and everyone's basically pursue your passion, but as a Filipina, as in like in our culture, it's like, no, you must work in a field that makes money. So it's I don't know, like Filipinos are just very money driven, but it's also because that's how they were taught to survive. So I totally get it. So I guess that's the bad to it, because I'd never know how to rest. I don't know how to stop. And I always consider working as successful. If I'm not moving, I'm not successful. And that is so toxic, that is so unhealthy. And that's something I basically fought off in 2020. So I no longer work 9 to 5. I'm fully freelance, and I'm very thankful. Even though it's hard, it's hard, to get clients, but it's going. I'm grateful for it. So yeah, hopefully that answers it. There's a good and bad too. Hardworking. So obviously the pandemic was a very heavy time. We're still living through it. So we're still adapting. We don't really know what's going on right now, but everyone's just pushing through, I guess. So so I would like to address pandemic fatigue. I feel like that's there, and it's always going to be there, just because there's so much uncertainty. We don't even know when the vaccines are going to be rolling out. I know like only like the frontliners are getting that, and the seniors, but I don't even know what's happening there. But so the pandemic, I'm grateful that it happened, because I kind of sad how it only took the pandemic for me to realize like my worth. So obviously before the pandemic hit, or like at the height of the pandemic, I was like, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to start a magazine. Like I don't even know why. So I'm thankful it made me realize my worth, just because it was obviously such an anxious time in the beginning, but it just reminded us like how precious life is, and how it's not worth working a job that you hate or that you're not thriving in. And it's so important to also address that I have a privilege to even pursue my passion project, because I know financially like a lot of people can't. So I just want to say that. But I'm thankful for the pandemic just because of that. It made me realize, what I can do, and I did it. So it's amazing. It's given me time to self-reflect. It's given me time to just really adapt to what's really important, family. And I'm really thankful that everyone's healthy, despite my partner and like his family are frontliners. Everyone's still healthy. We're good. So the pandemic, I'm very thankful for it. But also, we're still there. So sorry, I'm not really sure what to say. I'm thankful it happened, because I am like productive, and it's just reminding me to also, rest and just to keep learning. I haven't stopped learning. I've been reading a lot now, and yeah, I'm just really thankful for it. despite, you know, like as selfish as it is, because I feel like I'm in my own little nook and I don't leave. So I do feel safe. But yeah, I'm learning the state of the world is collapsing, but there's good things happening because communities like this are building up. You know, even just having a conversation is, this does something, like this is an impact, you know. So yeah, we're just trying to live. I think it only took me to reach rock bottom to realize I can do something. Just because I was so depressed. It was so depressing, like being in a job where you're not thriving and you feel like you have no choice. It's so painful. And I don't know if anyone who's listening, who's experiencing that, if you have the means to, honestly, your mental health like is worth it. Leave leave if you can. So and yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. I don't think I would have started it just because I feel like life would have still continued, and you know, the pressure of, you know, making money and like, you know, money and like success, like just keeping going. Like I feel like with everything that slowed down, it like empowered me to do the same, to just slow down and aligned why I want to live in a way. I just want to say, go for it. That's my advice. I feel like don't listen to your fears, and obviously it's important to consider, you know, outlining factors of can you afford to pursue your project. But even if it's just side, like on the side, like if you want to start a business on the side, do it. Like I feel like what's stopping you? And I think one of the learning curves that I learned was I felt that I wasn't adequate. Like I feel like I didn't know enough to even start one, like because I was going into the magazine strictly from my experience as a writer and pitching to other magazines. But don't listen to your fears. Keep learning. That's why you need to learn. So learn, research. Google is there for you. I feel like our generation now is so lucky to even be in the stage of the internet, because you can search anything these days. Learn how to do graphic design. Like I learned graphics through YouTube and just through learning. You know, I don't even have Photoshop. I literally use the free Photoshop on the internet. Literally just grab all the resources that you can and just keep learning, because you'll never be an expert. Like in a way, there are experts obviously, but just keep learning, you know, keep learning, keep going. You're never gonna, there's just so much to learn. So obviously don't exhaust yourself with so much info, but do it, start your business, and then just keep learning on the way.